Everybody, welcome back to this channel and welcome back to another disturbing movie breakdown. Now today's video we are going to be talking about the 2007 French extreme movie Frontiers. So let's get into it, shall we? So Frontiers, for the spoiler free synopsis, if you want to hear what it's about and then dip out and watch it yourself if you feel like you can handle it, then here we go. So Frontiers follows a group of thieves who go and hide out in a hotel, but they find out their safe space isn't exactly safe. So there we go. I'm not getting any better at these spoiler-free synopses, by the way. They're getting worse in my opinion. I could just get the synopsis off of Google, but I thought, where's the fun in that? Come on, Soph, use your noggin and do a bit of thinking on your own, and that's all I can come up with. If you haven't seen it before and you feel like you want to go watch it, then give it a go. It is violent, and it has got some sensitive issues in it, especially to do with racism. But I think compared to some of the other movies we've watched, this is a piece of cake. So yeah, go give it a go if you want to, if you've already seen it, or if you don't want to see it and you just want to see me talk a little bit about it and how I felt about it, then this is our discussion. So yeah, let's get into it. So as I said, this is a French movie. It came out in 2007, which it doesn't feel like a 2007 movie. You know how some movies feel quite dated? I love the Saw movies, but I feel like the first Saw, like you could tell that was made in like the early 2000s. This one, I feel like you could watch it now and maybe think it was like 2010, 2011. I know it doesn't sound like much of a difference, 2007, but believe me, there is a big difference with quality of filmmaking. And I think the reason why is that this movie is very fast paced. The way it's shot, it's very quick. It takes a little bit of you getting used to. I'm someone that gets motion sickness very, very easily and quickly, and it did take me a few pauses for me to actually be like, okay, I can carry on now, because that's what I found the hardest watching this, was that it went by quite quickly with the hand movements, and it's not Steadicam at all, and it made me feel a bit sick. Kind of similar to how Cloverfield was filmed. This is very similar, and I feel like that helps it not feel dated. That's just how I feel anyway. I'm sure some people will comment about how an idiot I am, but that's how I feel. So yeah, the movie starts, Frontiers starts with kind of like a news report. They're talking about there's a lot of riots in France, a lot of riots in Paris, all to do with a certain politician that is being elected. Very right wing, and there's a lot of unrest, civil unrest in there, and that is the basis of this movie. That is the background of this movie. So whilst all this chaos is happening, there have been a group of thieves, that is right, a group of thieves have been thieving, and yeah, they kind of use the unrest as a cover. It doesn't go to plan. So let me kind of introduce you to these characters to start with, and then we'll kind of go in a bit more about what happens. You have Yasmin. So Yasmin is the singular girl in this group, and she is pregnant. That is right, she is pregnant, and she's and ahhing about whether or not to abort it or not, because she feels, why should she bring a human into the hellhole that is the world at that moment. So yeah, so you have her, then you have her brother Sammy, who is very much keep the baby. You know, he wants to keep the baby, but that's the brother. Then you have Alex, who immediately is shown as being the quote-unquote leader of the gang. He's more of like the psychotic one. They're running away from police, and everyone's trying to run away and be like, come on, come. Alex is just taking him on. He's ready, you know, he's ready to kill him and beat the shit out of people and shoot people. He is the wild card, let's just say that. And then you have two other friends. You have Farid and you have Tom. Farid's more of the, I would say, more of like the sympathetic, innocent type. He's not, but when you're looking at them all together, he's more what I would assume. Maybe I missed some information because I write down to make my script, so maybe I missed it in the subtitles. But I feel like he's the youngest and he's treated the youngest. They treat him like the younger brother of this gang. So yeah, maybe he is the youngest there, and I just missed it. That's how I interpret it. And Tom is kind of, you know, he's there, he's friendly with them all, and him and Fareed are kind of like very, very close. So that's our group, that's our gang. Those are the people that we are following for this movie. Okay, that is our gang of thieves. So I said that they tried to do some thieving, which they did, and they thought they could get away with it, but it didn't go to plan, and Sammy got shot, which then leads them all to split up. So he's shot, he's injured, so Alex and Yasmin take Sammy to the hospital. While all this is happening, obviously all the police is looking for them. It's not, if they meet the police, it's not going to be a happy ending for them. So they really didn't actually want to take Sammy to the hospital, but eventually they split up and they do. So Fareed and Tom take the goods, so to speak, and they go to what they deem as their safe house, which is a hotel. I would call it like a B&B, you know, and that is on kind of like coming out, and it's like on the border. So like that's where they were going to meet. So they've gone with the goods while Sammy is going to hospital with Yasmin and Alex. And Sammy, they get him there, but he dies. The last thing he says is, keep the baby. The baby is Yasmin and Alex's. They're not together anymore, but you know, when I say there's some history, those two, history is brewing between them. So yeah, his final words are just get out, save yourself, leave me there, and don't get rid of the baby, have the baby. And he dies, and they just narrowly miss getting picked up by the police. So they're very upset, they're very tense, they're very angry. So they go to meet with Tom and Fareed in the safe house. So it's important to tell you as well that these are made up of Muslim Arabs. Okay, they're Muslim Arab youths. So I said that at the start it was a very right-wing politician that's like it's going to be winning. It's causing all these problems. So yeah, they're very much a minority, and that's important because Tom and Fareed get to this B&B. I'm going to call it a B&B. It's like a hotel, but it's quite small. And immediately they are there, and they are introduced to the people that own the house. So we have, I'm going to butcher these names, I'm so sorry. We've got Claudia, who is she's antagonistic, but doesn't really talk much to Claudia. And then you got Gilbert, and she is like the face of it all. She's the one. She's very, you know, she uses her sensual ways with these young boys. She's very flirty, especially with Fareed. And she's the one they kind of go to and they talk to, and they get the room. And then you're also shown Goats, and he is instantly introduced. He's very menacing, but eventually they show him to their room, and yeah, they are talking. They get told, well, Tom gets a phone call to say that Sammy had died and not to tell Fareed about it. And yeah, so they're, you know, a bit tense, a bit upset, especially Tom. He's keeping a secret. Lo and behold, the two girls come up and they do some nookie. They get up to some sexual encounters with these boys. Doesn't matter that Fareed is like, I've got a girlfriend. They take them. They do them. And then there's this very awkward family dinner scene, which reminds me very much of the Sawyer family in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where the boys have just had sex with them. They come down, they're sitting there getting ready to eat, and out rolls the grandmother, who just has like a feeding tube, and they're like force feeding her, and she's coughing up and spitting up all this food. It's quite disgusting, and they're not too happy about it to be sat there either watching. And then this is where they kind of drop the bomb of the fact that they are they're Muslim, and they say that it's not in their religion to be able to have this food. And instantly you can see like they zone in on that, they zero in on that, and there's a few argumentative words said. Tom calls the girls whores, and instantly that's it. no more fun, no more nice times. They hightail up into their hotel room, and yeah, the keepers of the house are not happy at all. So while this is happening, obviously Alex and Yasmin are coming to the inn. They're coming there. So whilst they're calling them to get the directions to be able to meet them at this inn, they are attacked. Tom and Farid are brutally attacked by these people that run the inn, that run the B&B. It's not B&B, I'm gonna keep calling it. They run the B&B. Like, it's brutal. They get kind of shot in the hand, and like the fingers come off, and they're getting beaten to shit. They manage to escape, and they manage to kind of get into a car, but as they kind of run off into their car, they get driven off the road, off into a cliff, into like the mine shaft. So they are now in the mine shaft, and they're injured because they've just been through a shit, and they're trying to get out through the mine shaft. And it's very, very claustrophobic. This scene really messed with me a bit, because I don't like tight spaces, and they're just crawling through this tiny little gap in there. They're freaking out because they're getting stuck. It's not for, if you're claustrophobic, you're not going to like this. And Tom is ahead, and he kind of gets up, and as he gets up, he enters almost like a butcher room, and he's quickly recaptured. He's quickly taken away by the butcher man, and he's recaptured. And whilst that's going on, Farid kind of gets out of the mine shaft and is like running around, and that's where he encounters these strange monstery humans, which we later find out are children from the family that are just left there. So he's left to kind of fend for himself, and yeah, it's a really creepy thing where he's kind of like, it's dark and you can't see these shadows coming, and then all of a sudden like you see them appear. And yeah, it was very well done with the camera work and all of that. But that's where these two guys are. They've been through a bit of a ringer at the moment. Yasmin and Alex arrive. They are told that they are not, that their friends are not at this hotel. They're somewhere else because they didn't have enough space. And as they kind of obviously fall for it and go along with it, they get quickly captured by this family as well. So this family, they know what they're doing. This is fun and games for them. They love it. And yeah, so now everyone is accounted for in some way of this family. Tom's been taken by the butcher man. Farid is down the mine shaft dealing with these little mutant children things, and Yasmin and Alex have been captured by the family as well. So that's where we are at with everything here. Whilst they are there with Alex and Yasmin, we are shown kind of like the matriarch of this family, and he is like an ex-Nazi officer. These people are neo-Nazis. That's why, you know, they instantly triggered, and their ears pricked up when they heard about the fact that they couldn't eat with their religion, the dietary requirements, and that instantly was like, okay, cool, yeah, we can have these people. So they are very racist, neo-Nazis, and we are shown this guy who's dressed in his like Nazi outfit. So they are taken to the basement-y area where they're thrown in the pigs, and they're tied up. They're thrown into the pigs. Alex and Yasmin, you know, they're talking. Alex like manages to release Yasmin and kind of says, go and get help, just get away from here, and like leave me. So she kind of like does this horrible thing where she has to go under this massive like puddle of mud and poop and underneath to kind of get out. So yeah, that's happened. She's free, but because she's free, Alex is now stuck there, and the family come and realize Yasmin's gone. So that means this little bastard had had helped her, and oh boy, are we in for a treat. That is right. They, with like bolt cutters, they cut his Achilles. They cut his Achilles tendons, and oh my god, is it disgusting. The way they do it, like they linger on it for so long before they do the big crunch. So you know, like you're waiting for it to happen. They're talking and talking and talking while this bloody bolt clipper is like attached to him, and then they just go, and you see it, you hear it, the screams of agony. It's horrible. It sends shivers down me whenever I think about that scene. It's just, it's horrible. And he does that for them both, so it's going to make it a lot harder for him to move. Fareed manages to kind of get his way through the mines, because obviously remember he was left with the children people of the family, and that's where he finds everyone. Like he finds like these storage units for victims. So we know that these people are dead. We know that these people are bad news. If we didn't already know, we now know. Tom is dead. He is like being like put up like a pig in a butcher, and there's a horrible scene as well. They're trying to get him off of the hook, and it just slides back into his foot, and it's disgusting, and he dies. He gets his throat slit, bled like a pig, all that stuff. So Tom's dead, and yeah, Fareed is just finding out all of this horrible stuff, and in doing so he gets himself killed as well by he's having like a fight with, I want to call it the butcher. I haven't got his name. The butcher cook guy. He's chasing Fareed, and they can have like a bit of a fight. And Fareed thinks he's escaped into a place where he's going to keep himself safe. Unfortunately, he's put himself into the boiler room. So he gets cooked. He gets burnt alive. And yeah, like he's banging, and then you see his skin, and he like crawls out when they let him out. And then he's just put out of his misery by a gunshot to the head. So yeah, so now we're down. We're down by 2 people. It's thick and fast, these people. Thick and fast. Yasmin has managed to run. She's out of the place, and she's running and running and running. And she thinks that she's found salvation. She thinks she's found a hero by someone driving in a car. So she hails him down, and she's like begging him, please, please, please. So the guy in the car lets her in. But unbeknownst to her, that was Goats. And yeah, he's loving it. That was the easiest recapture in his life. So he just takes her straight back to the family. And you do feel sorry for Yasmin, because you just see kind of like this realization happen before she's just brutally like beaten the shit out of in the car. And yeah, he's just very happy. You can see like the moment where he's just so pleased that he doesn't actually have to do anything, because she just walks straight into their hands. So Yasmin is now thrown back in to the pigs, where she sees Alex die. Alex is given kind of like last words, and he wishes to be done quickly, and surprisingly they listen. They shoot him in the head and they listen. So I do wonder what the subtext of that was. Was it kind of, did they allow that and just give him a quick death? Maybe because they knew to get rid of him, because he'd already let out Yasmin. Maybe it could be he went through the Achilles heel, he went through everything, and maybe they were just, it's almost like a sign of respect. Like he didn't run, he didn't cry, he didn't like beg for his life, he just kind of just had it happen to him. So maybe there was like a little hint of respect there, and that's why they they kill him quite quickly. I do wonder. So yeah, if any of you guys have any maybe ideas or thoughts about that, then let me know, because I am intrigued why, and I do wonder why he was done so quickly. So yeah, just let me know if you have any ideas or thoughts on that. So he's out the way. So now we're just down to Yasmin. Now, during all this chaos, we are introduced to another brother of the family, which is called Carl. And Carl is the person that kind of starts this whole big attack by kind of pretending to be a police officer coming in, and yeah, all that stuff. He's the one that starts the attack on Tom and Fareed. The plan is that he is going to continue on the mantle when Daddy is no more. So in doing so, he needs to have a wife. So the plan was to marry Carl with Yasmin, but Yasmin's pregnant. They realize that she's not a virgin, and they were like, can't deal with her, that can't be right. They need someone pure for this. So they leave her in the hands of the handmaiden, I would call handmaiden, who's called Eva. So she's kind of been here a lot in the second half of this movie, and she's very, very meek. She's quiet as a church mouse. She very rarely speaks. She's very, very on edge. She's very, very scared. You can tell she's there, but not by choice. She gets shouted at a lot. It's very, very just a horrible situation for her to be in. She has some sort of rapport as well with the cook, so you're led to believe that he's there, not by his own accord as well. So Yasmin's kind of left with her, in her hands to deal with her, because they can't have someone who's impure to marry into the family. Whilst they kind of go away, and we kind of get some more backstory about what's been happening with this family, where Yasmin and Eva are talking, and Eva says about how she became part of this family when she was a child. She was promised that by the family that if she obeyed and did what they say, then her parents would come back for her, but obviously they never did. So if the parents got killed, or the parents the soul just left her, she essentially became part of the crew, and in order to do these horrific things, she was promised that she would be given back to her family, and that's why she went along with it. But obviously years and years later, nothing's happened. She's not been taken, and she deals with these kind of rejected children in the mine, which is who we see attack Farid, and she is like they are her kids. She is the mother hen to these children. That's the story we get, and we kind of get that told whilst Yasmin is in her care. So we're going to get a bit more backstory now, and we're kind of in at the latter half of the movie as well, getting near the end. So we're kind of getting dribs and drabs of stuff now that maybe we didn't have any idea of. So it's quite nice to be able to tie up some loose ends and realise, okay, that's what that character's dealing with, that's what that character's dealing with. So I'm not too angry with the exposition. It's quite heavy, it's very much like we're just going to tell you it all, but I'm not too fussed because of the way the movie's been going. Like I said, I don't have a problem with how they did it. So they are dressed, they come down for dinner, for another family dinner, because that always goes well in horror movies. And whilst they are having dinner, chaos ensues, where Yasmin gets a knife and holds the Nazi hostage. I believe his name is von Geiser, and that's what I've written anyway in my script. I could be very wrong. And yeah, holds him hostage, and it's a tense moment where everyone's got guns. And you have the cook, you have the guy, he's aiming it. He's told, to not shoot, whereas you got Carl, who's also got a gun. He's egging everyone on to just take the shot. And in all of the chaos, the worker guy, I believe name is Hans, he takes a shot which hits von Geiser and kills him. All hell breaks loose, and I mean all hell breaks loose. He then gets shot and killed, much to Ava's despair. And Yasmin is just fucking, she's running, and yeah, everyone is balls to the wall crazy now. Like, we are in the last moments, like the last 10-15 minutes of this movie. Shit is going down, baby. She manages to get down to one of the body rooms. She's being pursued. Goats gets there, and they have like this big fight, and it's brutal and bloody, and eventually she manages to kill him by like putting him through like a table saw, and oh boy, it is bloody and gory. It's very well done. I do like the way that it's shot, because by mixing in that gore with like the fast camera work, it does make it a lot more sells it a lot more brutally. And yeah, there's just blood flying everywhere, and he's dead. So that's tick another one off the list. So yeah, Table Saw has took out goats. They're in the mine, so C's trying to get out to get up to higher ground, and Carl's there and tries to recapture her, but Ava comes and saves the day. And when I say blows off his head, I mean blows off his head with a shotgun. It's like watermelon explosion. Like, it's such an explosion, and you're like, yes girl, that's good, well done. And yeah, that's Carl gone. Carl's dead as well, thanks to Ava and her exploding shotgun. And yeah, it's such a good effect. I love a good head explosion in movies, and this one was no different. Yasmin obviously now is with Ava. She's trying to get some car keys to be able to just get away from the ship pit, because like I said before, obviously they drove her there. They drove her to this place, so she knows there's keys to get away from here, but she's ambushed by the two girls. And it's like, if you've ever seen Hot Fuzz, it reminds me of the scene at the end where they're all like shooting at each other, and it's so played for laughs. Like, this had that element to me, because they just like draw like submachine guns, and they are just firing, and they just keep going and going and going and going until one of them like hits a gas tank and it explodes the whole place, which kills Claudia. And it's just, for whatever reason, like, that made me chuckle. It reminded me so much of Hot Fuzz, and it's just so unserious, that moment, that I don't know why they went down that route. But hey, it's entertaining and it's fun. And I think like this end sequence where they're just fighting each other, it's fun to see these people go down, because they're so horrible in the whole movie. And I think that's like what the director gave us. They were like, you know what, these people are going to die, and they're going to go out in style. So yeah, it's good fun and a good enjoyment to watch. Claudia's dead. She got blown up. Gilbert is very injured, but he's still holding on there, and she's trying to kill Yasmin, but Yasmin like rips out her throat. Like, she goes full feral and just bites her throat, so she bleeds out and dies. So everyone in that family is dead, which now leaves us with Ava and Yasmin. And Yasmin's pleading to Ava to come with her, you know, they can get to safety, but Ava just can't. She can't leave the children alone. They're her responsibility. And she's just too far gone. She's too far gone. So she stays there while Yasmin gets in the car and escapes. It's not a happy ending, because as she gets in the car and she kind of like makes her way out of the place, there is a roadblock of police, and she voluntarily gives herself up. So we know it's not going to end well for her, because of what they were actually chasing her for anyway in the first place. Add in all of these deaths. Majority of these people that died were, you know, white neo-Nazis, very much the stereotypical people that would support the regime that is happening at this time in this movie. So I don't think they're going to believe her story of what actually happened. So either way, I don't think she's going to have a happy ending, and that's how it ends. She's there to give herself up to police, and that's how it ends. And that is Frontiers. And yeah, I've heard this movie. I'd never seen it before. I'd heard about it, and it wasn't what I expected. This one I felt was a lot more action heavy, especially when shit hits the fan. It's very action heavy, and I think that helps it not be so disturbing. I think if it was long lingering shots of things like of torture, or of just like this despair of these people, then I think it would be a lot harder to stomach. Yes, don't get me wrong, it is quite difficult to sit through. Some of the gore in it is very well done, and the actual tone, it's just very like, there's no happy ending, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but the way the movie's made, the shaky camera and the almost over the top like action sequences towards the end, it takes the disturbingness out of it, or at least for me it did. So for Frontiers, I'm going to give this, on the disturbing meter scale, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10. I don't think it's that disturbing, because I feel the choices they went to, how they made it with the action, I feel cut the disturbingness out of it quite a bit. But hey, let me know in the comments down below how you felt about it, whether you felt that it was a lot more disturbing than I did. Maybe I read it wrong in certain places. Like I said, when I do this, because I have to make a script, I write a lot of the stuff that happens as I'm watching it, and sometimes I don't have time to then rewatch it again fresh, which means that there is, when you're watching foreign movies that have subtitles, you could miss some subtext. So if that's the case, then please let me know. But otherwise, this is how I'm taking it, and I just feel like the action side of it makes it a lot less disturbing, for me anyway. But then again, I am someone that watches a lot of disturbing movies, so I'm quite desensitized anyway. I think if you've not seen many tough to watch movies, I think you'll find it a lot more jarring than maybe me. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you follow me on these socials. This is a place to be for all things movie related, and especially movie collecting as well. I'm also doing stuff over on TikTok, where I do like my come with me and watch the movie at cinema. So if you like that sort of stuff, follow me there. Also give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you like it all and you like the disturbing movie breakdowns. Comment down below as well how you want to see me do these disturbing movie breakdowns. Do you like this, where I kind of just talk the plot out to you and what I feel and how I feel about it? Or do you want me to go into maybe less plot and more kind of backstory with regards to maybe making the movie, stuff like that? Just let me know, because I'm here to do it for you guys and I want everyone to have some fun. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you at the next video. Ciao ciao, bye for now.